Hey, what's going on, guys? Steve back again with another Division 2 video. So the open beta starts here in about 5 days. I know there's going to be a lot of new players jumping in and testing out the game, trying to make their decision before the game comes out in a couple weeks whether or not they want to buy it. So I decided to compile a list of all of the brand sets, and if you guys don't know what brand sets are, it's basically like the gear sets from Division 1, as well as some of the armor attributes, so you guys can start thinking about build you're wanting to spec into, test out during the beta. I actually like this way a little bit better than the gear sets because you're kind of pigeonholed into, if you're wanting to play a sniper in Division 1, you ran into Hunter's Faith or Deadeye. If you wanted to be a healer, you ran Reclaimer. So, but this method that you're using now seems to offer a little bit more diversity. So I'll just throw up an image on screen here of all of the brand sets that I know of so far. There's 14 in total, and I'm going to start from the top left and work my way down. This is Air Aldi Holdings. This is actually the one that I used in the private beta. It was a one-shot sniper build, so you get 10% extra accuracy, 10% headshot damage, and 10% marksman rifle damage. Next here we've got Alps Summit Armaments. That is going to be basically like a skill build. You're going to have 10% cooldown reduction on your skills, 5% extra skill power, and 15% extra hive skill power. Next we have Badger Tough. That's going to be 7% damage to elites, 15% armor on kill, which is pretty good, and 15% chem launcher skill power, which I used the other day during the technical test, and I'm actually really liking it a lot. Next up we have China Light Industries. It's 10% extra explosive damage, 10% shotgun damage, and 10% cooldown reduction. Next we have Douglas and Hardings, 5% extra accuracy, 10% crit damage, and 10% crit chance. Next we have Fenris Group AB. It's going to be 10% extra AR damage, 10% protection from elites, and 20% health on kill. Next up we've got Gia Inventory System, 5% extra armor, 20% hazard protection, which is basically EDR from Division 1, and 15% pulse skill power. Next we got Murakami Industries. That's 8% health, 10% hazard protection, and 15% extra firefly skill power. Overlord Armaments, 10% extra rifle damage, 7.5% total armor, and 7% damage to elites. Next we have Petrov Defense Group. This isn't the actual emblem. All the pictures of the emblem in-game that I had were super blurry, so I just got one that is the exact same. It's just the Russian eagle. So when you see that, that's what that is. Petrov Defense Group. You get 10% LMG damage, 15% turret skill power, and 10% cooldown reduction. Next up we got Providence Defense Group. This is part of the one-shot sniper build I'll show you guys in a little bit. You get 10% extra skill power, 8% health, and 5% extra weapon damage. Next up we got Richter and Kaiser. You get 10% hazard protection, 20% pistol damage, and 15% extra shield skill power. Next up we got Sokolov Concern. I have no idea if that's how you say that. You get 10% SMG damage, 8% crit damage, and 15% Seeker Mine skill power. Next up we have Wyvern Wear. You get 7% extra crit damage, 15% drone skill power, and 10% crit chance. Alright, that's it for the brand sets, and I'm going to go over some of the armor attributes that I found while playing. First up we got the chest piece here. You can roll weapon damage, bonus armor, and headshot damage on the chest piece. And where it says %X number, that's just a flat number added to your base stat. So like for instance, you can get a bonus of, like on a blue chest piece I had a bonus of 4173 added to my base armor. Okay, so next up we got the mask. You can roll health on kill, damage to elites, and hazard protection on the mask. Next we have the backpack. You can roll the backpack is the best one I've seen so far as the stats you can roll on it. You can get bonus armor, straight up weapon damage, skill power, cooldown, and crit damage on the backpack. Next you have the gloves. You can roll straight up weapon type damage on the gloves, which is kind of like it was in the first game, where you can get like up to, I've seen as high as like 12%, I think it's 12% on the high end gear pieces of like AR damage or MMR damage. Next you can also roll crit chance and a flat bonus to your health, kind of like with the bonus armor on the chest piece, just a flat number added to your base stat. Next, you can, on the holster, you can roll crit chance, crit damage, skill power, and health. And then last, on the knee pads, you can roll bonus armor, health, crit chance, and skill power. But, like I said, these are just some of the attributes that I was able to find. 100%, there's more out there. Like I said, these are just the ones that I was able to find in gameplay and during my testing from the private beta. But moving on, I want to talk about just a few of the builds that I'm looking forward to attempting to play with during the beta next Friday. This first one is the one-shot sniper build, and if you've seen any of my videos from a couple weeks ago, this was pretty much the build that I was using in all of those videos, as well as the gameplay you're seeing in the background. It's the 3-piece Air Audi Holdings plus 3-piece Providence Defense, and the Air Audi is going to give you the 10% extra MMR damage. Providence is going to give you 5% extra weapon damage. That was really the only reason I wanted Providence. You can potentially get away with not having to run Providence if you can get weapon damage on your chest piece, your backpack, and the MMR damage on your gloves. But like I said, it comes down to what you're able to get. Everything else, it doesn't really matter that much. Those are the big 3 pieces of gear you're going to want to get for this to be a one-shot build. The weapons to look out for, you really only have 2 options, and that is you're going to want purple. Like, you're going to want the superior weapons because it intrinsically has higher headshot damage than the blues and the greens. So once you get to level 7 and you're in the DZ farming, just keep a lookout for these 2. So it's the Model 700 and the Classic M44. The Classic M44, 100%, like, always one shots no matter what. The Model 700 does have a little bit lower base damage, but you can still get one shots with the Model 700. It's just the M44 is more consistent. The next build I'm looking forward to playing around with would be this SMG build, and it's 2-piece Sokolov Concern, 3-piece Douglas and Harding, and then 1-piece Wyvern Ware. You're basically just speccing as much into crit damage and crit chance as you can. So definitely looking for those attributes on your armor is going to be key. The chest piece, I would try to get either weapon damage or crit chance. Crit chance would probably be, you can get both. It's just going to lower both of the values of those attributes. So if you get one of those 2 right there, you're good. So the mask, it doesn't really matter. Hazard protection maybe is like I said, an EDR from Division 1, so like you're more resilient to explosions. The backpack, definitely get weapon damage or crit damage. Probably weapon damage would be my go-to for that one. And then on the gloves, try to get SMG damage and crit chance, or one, like I said, one or the other. The holster, you can actually run crit chance or roll crit chance and crit damage. That would be like the god roll holster if you got both of those in spec'd into your holster. But the knee pads, again, crit chance on your holsters. The weapons to look out for this build, I would say the number 1 would be the PP19, and that's because intrinsically it has a higher magazine count. I think it's 52 you get with the base PP19. The next one, then I actually used this one right here, is the MP5A2, and it's really good. It melts. And then the MPX, which I'm sure any of you that played the Division 1 recognizes this gun. It's pretty much the house from the Division 1, and it's disgusting. I really want to get like a extended mag on it, but for some reason I was not able to get extended mags on the SMGs during the private beta. I don't know if it's different for the open beta, so we'll just have to see. Alright, and the last build I'm going to be looking forward to trying to get is this solo PvE or solo DZ build, and it's mainly just speccing into like sustainability and like armor. So it's going to be 2-piece Badger, 3-piece Fenris, and then 1-piece Gia. You can play around with this one a little bit more than the others, but it's mainly just focusing on, like I said, your armor, and then being able to, farm elites and NPCs as fast as possible. So you got the damage to elites that you get from the Badger, and then armor on kill. That is going to be really strong. I didn't get a chance to use it during the private beta, but I'm definitely looking forward to trying to get a couple pieces of Badger for the open beta. And then you got AR damage, protection from elites, and then 20% health on kill. Like I said, you can play around with that. Health on kill is not that great because health is sucked. Once your armor's gone, you're pretty much dead. And then the Gia, you just get 5% extra armor. So the attributes on the armor that I would look for would be probably weapon damage on the chest piece. Health, like I said, is stupid. Like once your armor's gone, you're dead. And then the mask, you can get up to like 30% extra damage to elites on like purple superior masks. Health, like you could get health if you can't get damage to elite. I guess health on kill is the next best option. The backpack, definitely go for bonus armor. Like I said, you want to get as much armor as you can. You're going to be solo. Or you could go this route, which would be speccing into your... I would run the health drone as one of your skills, and then just spec into skill power and cooldown reduction so you get it, as often as you can. The gloves, I would go AR damage, and then holsters, again, skill power for the same reason I just mentioned. And then the knee pads go bonus armor. And if you can't get bonus armor, probably skill power. The weapons that I would look for when trying to run this build would be the two best ARs that I played with during the beta or the private beta was the Police M4. That was the first one I got, and I used it for the most of the beta. And then like the last day, I was able to get a CTAR 21, and this is by far my new favorite AR in the game. Like lightweight M4, LVOAC, move over, dude. CTAR 21 is the king. Like it's a laser beam. I love this thing. You could try the FAMAS. The only thing with the FAMAS is that this is just, like I said, this is just for the beta. But during the private beta, I was not able to put on an extended mag on the FAMAS for some reason. So you're really limited on the DPS you're able to do with the FAMAS. It is fun to use. Like, I mean, it's the FAMAS, it's the bullfrog. So I mean, it is fun to use. But the other two are, it's just so much better because you can put extended mags on them. But that's going to do it for this build and the video. And like I said, let me just reiterate, this is 100% subject to change when the game comes out, like full release. This is just like the stuff from the beta. So consider this like a how to have fun in the beta video. Like a couple builds you can, try to get during the beta, just to have fun in the beta. Because building or making different builds is what this game is all about. So these are just a few of them to keep in mind when you're playing the beta. If you just want to try out the game before you put your money down to purchase the game when it comes out in a couple weeks. So like I said, this is just for the beta. But yeah, anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I've got a couple videos coming out later this week. It's a more in-depth farming guide. I uploaded a farming guide for the last beta. It was a very quick one, just kind of an overview of how to do it. But this one is like the full route of the farm for the DZ East. And it's like all the caches are listed and everything. So if you want to see that, subscribe. Like the video if you found it useful. If you know of any of the other gear sets, like I said, there's 14. I swear to God, I feel like there's one more out there. 15 just sounds like way more of a round number to me. But if you guys know of another set or different attributes that I didn't list, drop a comment down below. I'll revise the graphics when we posting some of this stuff to Reddit. So yeah, if you know of something I don't, drop a comment. I'll put it back in the graphic and then upload it to Reddit so you guys can save it for next week or whenever, so you'll have something to go by. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.